All right, so buckle up, everyone, for another deep dive. You know how we do it here, going deep on one single topic, one source at a time. And today, we're diving headfirst into Cronos, that CRO for you crypto fans out there.
CRO, yep.
Exactly. Specifically, we've got our hands on a seriously bullish analysis of, well, everything it seems like. Support levels, resistance, Fibonacci targets, all that good stuff. But before we get too carried away, got to lay down the disclaimer, Mara.
Absolutely. Always, always.
Crypto, as we all know, is a wild ride.
Yeah.
Up, down, sideways, who knows?
Never a dull moment.
No kidding. So no guarantees here, folks. Just some good old-fashioned analysis to chew on.
That's right. And speaking of analysis, this one really gets down to the nitty-gritty of technical analysis, particularly when it comes to those support and resistance levels. I mean, they're practically the bread and butter of predicting price movements.
Okay, yeah, support and resistance. I feel like we talk about these all the time, but for anyone tuning in for the first time, maybe just joining the crypto craze, let's break those down, like super simple.
Okay, yeah, picture this. You've got a trampoline, right?
A trampoline. Okay, I'm with you.
And you're bouncing up and down. So those support levels, those are like the trampoline surface catching you every time you fall. They're where the buying pressure kicks in, outweighing all that selling, and boom, prices bounce back up.
Okay, so support is like the bounce. Makes sense.
Exactly. Now flip that around. Resistance levels, that's like, I don't know, maybe a low ceiling above the trampoline and stopping you from bouncing any higher. Prices hit that ceiling and the selling pressure pushes them right back down.
Gotcha. Support's the bounce, resistance is the ceiling. Perfect analogy. I love it.
Glad it works. So with CRO, according to this analysis, we've got some key levels to keep an eye on. For support, we're looking at 0.1184, a big one for the long-term holders out there. Remember that dip back in May 2023? CRO bounced right off this level, proving its strength.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Then we have 0.1609, which they're calling a potential buying zone. Pretty interesting, considering the current price is hovering around 0.1714, another support level.
So we're basically right in the thick of it right now.
Pretty much. Now for resistance, we're looking at a few key numbers. 0.3308, 0.5007, 0.6486, and then way up there, almost a moonshot, 0.7525.
Wow, some big numbers there. And you know what else caught my eye in this analysis? All this talk about Fibonacci levels. Now, I'll be honest, those always make my head spin a little bit. Could you walk us through those? Like, what's the deal with these Fibonacci levels?
All right, so Fibonacci levels, yeah, they can seem a little mystical at first, but bear with me. Essentially, they come from this famous sequence of numbers, the Fibonacci sequence, you know, where each number is the sum of the two before it.
Like 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8.
You got it. And in trading, we use these levels to kind of pinpoint where prices might reverse or keep it going in the same direction. Think of them like landmarks on a price chart.
Okay, so they're like potential turning points.
Exactly. And they're not just random either. Each level corresponds to a specific percentage retracement or extension of a previous price move.
So like 38.2%, 50%, 61.8%. Those are retracements. And extensions go even further.
Yep. You're getting it. So now tie this back to CRO and our support and resistance levels. It gets really interesting when you see how those Fibonacci levels line up.
Oh, so it's all connected.
It is. For example, the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement level, it lines up almost perfectly with that 0.3308 resistance level we talked about. And the 61.8% level, boom, right there at 0.5007, another resistance. And get this, that 0.7525 resistance, that's smack dab on the full bullish Fibonacci extension projected for, wait for it, 2024.
So basically, these Fibonacci levels are backing up this whole bullish narrative for CRO.
They're adding fuel to the fire, for sure. And then you throw in that the analysis is talking about growing volume, too, which is usually a good sign.
Right, because it means more people are getting interested buying and selling.
Exactly. But got to throw in another disclaimer here. Volume alone doesn't tell the whole story. It's got to be considered alongside everything else.
Like it could be growing volume, but with everyone selling.
Exactly. So it's not a foolproof indicator, but definitely something to keep in mind.
All right, so taking all of this into account, if someone was looking at this analysis, what would they actually do? What would a potential strategy look like?
Well, the analysis lays out a pretty clear roadmap. For entry points, they're suggesting either hopping in around the current price, that 0.1714, or waiting for a dip to the BUY2 zone at 0.1609.
So two different entry points depending on your risk tolerance.
Exactly. Now, for taking profits, they've got targets at 0.3308, then 0.5007, then 0.6486, the final target being that 0.7525, the big one. And of course, crucial, 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 they recommend setting a stop loss below that major support level at 0.1184, just to manage the risk, protect yourself from a big downturn.
Always got to have that stop loss. So, okay, this is great, super insightful stuff. But of course, it's just one analysis, right? One perspective on where CRO might be headed. What are some other things, beyond the charts and the numbers that could impact the price in the coming months?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about real-world adoption. Is Cronos chain attracting developers, new projects, everyday users? That's going to play a huge role. On the flip side, any bad news, regulatory hurdles, that could throw a wrench in the whole thing.
Yeah, the regulatory landscape.
Yeah.
Always a wild card.
And then let's not forget the overall crypto market. What's Bitcoin doing? What's the mood like? Because if Bitcoin takes a nosedive, CRO's probably going with it, even with a bullish setup.
So the macro picture is always important.
Absolutely. It's like, yeah, you might have a perfect plan for your garden, but if a hurricane rolls through, it doesn't matter.
Love that analogy. Okay, so even with this bullish technical outlook, we got to keep our eyes on the big picture. Well, I don't know about you, but this deep dive into CRO has definitely given me a lot to think about. It's fascinating to see how all these different factors can influence the price of a single cryptocurrency.
It really is. And the more you learn, the more you realize there's always more to learn. So true. And that's what we're all about here, right? Exploring, learning, diving deeper. So keep exploring, folks. Do your own research, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.
See ya then.
Until then.